As I always do, I started the build by going over the covering. And though I searched over the whole airplane, I found one little corner that wasn't quite stuck down. I fixed that, and that's all it needed. The QQ YAK comes with Robart style pin hinges, and we do have to install them, but the holes are very precisely drilled and they fit right in, so it's a very easy job. Pull rudders are pretty much standard these days, and you get a good set with this plane. I'm using the optic kill switch from RCXL in this model. I've heard a lot of good things about this switch. It's very light and apparently very reliable. I'm also using a separate battery for the ignition on this plane. This battery is a 2-cell 1300 milliamp LiPo, like the two that I used for the receiver. The OptiKill is plugged into the receiver on a spare channel. And I assigned the trainer button because it's a momentary switch and I don't have to worry about bumping it accidentally and shutting the motor off when I don't want it off. You get this tray with the QQ YAK that's for mounting the batteries at the back end of the cockpit when necessary to hit the CG. This is another touch that shows that these guys know what they're doing. I bullseyed the CG with the batteries back here with no extra weight added. For a 35cc airplane, this thing's got quite a bit of room inside. I still have to clean up some of the wiring, but overall there's plenty of room for just about anything you want to use in a plane like this. Flex Innovations recommends the DA35 engine for this plane, and I only had to hear that once, and I had one of those. And as I expected, it fits very well in this plane. The fiberglass over wood firewall is drilled for the DA35, and the standoffs included with the motor give you the exact firewall to prop washer distance we need. I also got the 3 3/4 inch aluminum spinner and a 20x8 Falcon prop from Flex Innovations. I'm liking carbon fiber props more and more, and Falcon makes one of the better ones. I still need to clean up the cuts I made in the cowl, but I liked how you didn't have to open it up too much. From most flying angles, you can't see any of the cutouts on this cowl. I double-checked to be sure that the engine was the correct distance from the prop washer to the firewall, and it's spot on. There's nothing really wrong with this gap, I'm just not used to something this big. Despite being a 35cc airplane, we've got quite a bit of room inside the fuselage to put all the equipment in. It also gives us a lot of options for where we want to run wires. I used a 16-ounce Dubro gas tank, and I set it up for a 3-line configuration. It's been a long time since I used a Dubro tank, but it's obvious they haven't forgotten how to make good products in the meantime. I have a Sullivan crab trap in a line to the carburetor, and I used one of these outside fuel inlets for filling it just because it looks cool. The Aura 8 flight control system in a red box is getting all its information from the Spectrum AR8010T. I'll be doing a separate review of the Aura 8 in the near future, but I will tell you now that it's very easy to set up if you read the instructions. You'll see in the maiden that I had a little bit of brain fade and that almost cost me this new airplane. I used all the recommended aluminum servo arms that also came from Flex Innovations. These arms are nicely made and plenty strong. And I used their Potenza 22209 high voltage servos throughout the airplane. If you want to build a light airplane, carbon fiber landing gear are pretty much standard fare. And we got this gear from Flex Innovations, and these are the wheels that come with the kit. I like that these tires have a smoother surface that seems to grab less water when you're flying in the early mornings off of dew-covered runways. The kit comes with these shark's teeth that go on a leading edge of the wings. These are meant to help stabilize the wing when you're doing high alpha things like elevators or rolling Harriers. One of the things I like about them is they give the look at a QQ YAK a little bit of an attitude. Even the side force generators are different on this plane. They get hooked to the wing inside of the counterbalance for the ailerons. The wings are mounted on the carbon fiber wing tube and secured to the fuselage with this fiberglass tab. This is the morning of Maiden Day, and I was going to do a story on starting a brand new engine, but this is a DA35 and it started almost immediately, so it kind of took all the reason out of having that story. I wound up pitching up the top end about an eighth of a turn, if that, and it seemed to run just fine. This is just a teaser of what happened on the first Maiden Day, and then later we'll show you what happened on the rest of the Maiden Days. I made kind of a big mistake setting this plane up, and it almost bites me. So stay tuned, you get to see this whole flight and how we fixed everything later.